Texas football is now one win away from bowl eligibility while the basketball team tipped off their season this weekend. We're talking that and more next on College Crossfire.
I guess we'll get into it, guys. Always enthusiastic, unbelievable, hard-nosed.
Roll up the sleeves for this one.
This Dallas team was very overrated from the start, like they always are every year.
The talent there, Kevin Mack, Eric Davis, and Cronin Roach, are maybe three of the most talented guys in the team.
That's an ugly shirt.
Always a pleasure having you on, guys.
Time to freak out.
Good evening and welcome into College Crossfire. I'm your host, Mark Skoll Jr. Glad to have you on your Wednesday night. Let's go ahead and meet our panel. To my left, Jonathan Polasic. First off, I want to say congratulations to the Houston Astros World Series champ. Die-hard Houston Astros fan right here.
I've never been happier. It's been the most exciting time of my life because I know Houston Texans and Rockets aren't going to see a championship anytime soon, so this is what I've got to accept.
Yeah, very, very cool. Arya Bastami, we had the same panel on.
We did.
When the Yankees were up 3-2 in the ALCS. And
3-2.
Arya, the Yankees fan, he's joining us tonight.
I did. I made the wrong prediction of picking the Yankees over the Stros, but I am very happy for the city of Houston and all the Stros fans.
Awesome.
Congrats.
And then Sean, also
the
big
end.
Stros fan. Glad to have you back on. First time since the Astros won the World Series.
Yeah, just waiting to get my ring. I can't wait for the ceremony.
Well, you're getting a ring too?
Oh yeah. I played a little.
It has your name engraved on it too?
Yeah. I get the grills too.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
He's the backup catcher.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right, guys, big news for the Texas football team came out on Monday at head coach Tom Herman's weekly press conference. He announced that All-American offensive tackle Connor Williams will make his return to the field this Saturday against West Virginia. We've all seen the offensive line struggles this season, but do you guys think Connor Williams' return will fix the offense? Jonathan?
Well, Mark, I definitely have to say that Connor Williams is a huge piece. And I'm not just talking huge because he's big, but he's just integral with everything that Texas does. I mean, you look at the Texas offense before he went out and then the Texas offense after he went out. The Texans running game has been non-existent ever since he's gone out. They've been averaging just about 100 yards a game, and most of that's coming from quarterback Sam Ehlinger and quarterback Shane Buechele. I mean, guys like Chris Warren, Kyle Porter, Daniel Young, Toneel Carter, they really haven't had a whole lot of room to run. That's because that offensive line has been horrible. You look at the two games where Connor Williams was in the lineup and where he was starting, and they averaged 250 rushing yards per game, and that came from everybody. The quarterbacks, the running backs, Gerard Hurd, that came from everybody. And another thing is that he can keep Ehlinger, Buechele, Gerard Hurd, and whoever clean. Whoever's going to be at quarterback, he can keep whoever's going to be behind, like under center, clean. Like he hasn't given up a sack in the longest of times, and he is a cornerstone left tackle in the NFL. He is a high first-round draft pick, and Texas absolutely needs him.
And it seemed like last year when Deontay Foreman was here, 2,000-yard back for Texas, they would always run the left side behind Williams and Vahe. So if they have him back, I'm sure that's going to help out the run game. Arya?
Definitely, I got to agree with Jonathan 100%. I mean, this guy in his sophomore year did something only 4 other people from Texas had done, and that's get an All-American bid. So with that being said, also what you were saying with the 2,000 rushing yards from last season as well, I mean, 10 yards per carry for Deontay Foreman, that's something that's highly due in part because of him. So when you put that in perspective, if the run game can get back up to its efficiency to where it needs to be for Texas, then that way the passing game has more leeway to get more touchdowns and obviously extend plays. So I've got to say, having him back for Texas is definitely going to be very integral in them winning the next 2 games.
I definitely think so too. And we all mentioned the run game, but the pass game too. It seems like Shane Buechele and Sam Ehlinger are just getting killed play after play after play. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, they mentioned the run game, but I think Connor Williams will also make his presence felt in the passing game because really you can't have 2 weak tackles. You can have 1 weak tackle. You can't have 2.
True.
If you have 1, you can help out the 1. You can't help out both. So I think he definitely is going to help this offense. Of course he will. He's going to be top draft pick. He's going to play on Sundays. But no one man can just fix the offensive line issues when they've got so many holes at the time. But he's definitely gonna help add another presence, a physical presence to the run game.
Sean, I'm going to go with you here. You all made great points, but I think the pass game, I think that's where Texas needs the most help. I think just because they don't have time, and if Sam Ehlinger, if he's quarterback on Saturday, we don't know, but if he is and he has time, I think that's going to, and that'll open up the run game too. So Sean's getting the point. All right, moving on. This past weekend, Texas got revenge against Kansas from a season ago, defeating the Jayhawks 42-27. The win puts Texas only one win away from bowl eligibility. We have next week off because of Thanksgiving break, but when we get back, Texas football will have played its final 2 games of the season against West Virginia and Texas Tech. The question is this: will the Horns be bowl bound? Aria?
Well, as I had said on Monday, 9:30 p.m., watch TSTV, College Press Box, I had reiterated the fact that this game against West Virginia for Texas is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. They're going to have to go up against the quarterback play of Will Grier, who's completed over 64% of his passes on this season and has 34 touchdowns and just 12 interceptions, so that ratio is crazy. So the offense for West Virginia is going to be extremely tough for Texas to overcome, even with their secondary being as strong as it is. So with that being said, I do believe that it's going to be tough, like I had stated earlier, for West Virginia to get that win, for Texas to get that win against West Virginia. But playing against Texas Tech at home in DKR, believe it's much easier. So I do think that they're going to be bowl eligible. It's just going to come down to that last game.
So they're going to get 6 wins just the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. Okay,
Yep.
Okay. Sean?
I'm a little less optimistic, to be honest with you, Mark. I think this game against West Virginia is going to be very difficult. Playing in Morgantown is not an easy place to play. It's one of the best atmospheres in college football. And so that you're really looking at Black Friday as kind of a winner-take-all kind of situation with Texas Tech. They're also probably going to be looking to get bowl eligible as well. So, you know, these big games that Texas plays, they really haven't been that great in them. And this season for Herman has really not gone as well as he had hoped. I mean, I think we all had pretty high expectation. We're thinking that we're going to do this segment this late in the season. So I think this season as a whole for Coach Herman hasn't really been that, you know, much of a success as I think we all view it as.
Well, I think, I mean, I can agree to that, but I do think they've been in it in almost every game except TCU, Maryland. I mean, they were in it with USC, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and those are teams that are in the top 15 in the country. So, I mean, they had a chance to win all 3 of those games. I think those losses are disappointing, but I think the team's definitely in the right.
Yeah, the result is disappointing, but the process has been inspiring.
Definitely.
Yep. Jonathan?
Let's just say Texas could easily just have 2 losses right now. They're going to Morgantown, like you said. It's an 11 a.m. game. Morgantown is not an easy place to play. I don't think that Texas gets the win. So Texas is coming back to Austin, Black Friday, against Texas Tech. That defense for Tech is not very good. They're giving up 33 points per game, 150 rush yards per game, and they're allowing opponents to convert on 3rd down at a 44% clip. I think Texas has a much better defense, and they can score just enough to keep Tech at bay. That defense can, led by Malik Jefferson. And so I think that Texas comes back to Austin, beats Tech 42-28, and gets bowl eligible. And Texas goes to a bowl for the first time in 35 years.
Yeah, especially with Tech only averaging what they're allowing 35 points per game. So that is going to be a game.
I'm rolling with Jonathan here. I know Arya said that they're going to be bowl eligible, but I like the comment about the defense. They've been so rock solid. Even with that losing P.J. Locke and Holton Hill, they've still looked really good. All right, guys, college basketball season is officially underway, and Texas is off to a hot start on Friday. The Longhorns took down Northwestern State 105-59, and just last night defeated New Hampshire 78-60. A lot of things to discuss with this basketball team. But what is your biggest takeaway from the first 2 games of the season, Sean?
My biggest takeaway, Mark, is that obviously this team, we can already say it, they're going to be better than last year's team. That's easy to say. You have a lot of the young guys coming back from last year's squad. They're going to improve another year with Shaka. And really, you're just trading out Jared Allen for Mo Bamba. I think we all think that's an upgrade. Mo Bamba is one of the nation's best incoming freshmen. So the team's going to be better. The defense has already proven to be very, very good, shutting down these 2 teams. But we won't really learn anything tangible about how they're going to perform, like going into Big 12 play until the Phil Knight Classic when they play Butler and teams that are more in their weight class, a little more in their range, I would say.
Yeah, could play #1 team in the country, Duke, in that tournament, so that would be definitely a big test for Texas. Jonathan, what's your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway is that this Texas team is balanced. It's not Texas doesn't rely on just the one player, the Jared Allen or the Isaiah Taylor. Texas has 5 players that are averaging double figures right now, and so they can rely on 5 different players to get it going at any point during the season. Obviously, Mo Bamba is the big name, and he should be the leader. I mean, he even said he's one and done. But you got Osakowski, you got Matt Coleman, who, by the way, Texas finally has a point guard. They didn't have a point guard last year, and it showed. They won 11 games because of that. Nobody could handle the ball. Nobody could handle a full-court press, and they turned the ball over so much. They've only turned the ball over 14 times in 2 games. That's fantastic for Texas. They have the point guard, they have the bigs, they have the defense. The only thing that they can work on, shooting from the charity stripe and shooting from distance. But as we all know, Texas has had that issue for many years now.
Yeah, you mentioned the point about the people scoring double digits. 7 guys in game 1 scored over 10 points. 5 guys in game 2. So it's been very, very impressive to see so far. Arya?
Yeah, I was thinking to myself the other day, to be honest, and I was like, man, this Texas team allowed only 60 points from the last 2 games and scored 91 on average from the last 2 games. And then I remembered the teams that they played. So the sample size is way too small for me to say anything, to give any takeaways about this season. I could say the defense is playing extremely well, but then again, it's only been 2 games. So like was stated earlier by Sean, it's going to be that game against Butler that's really going to show what this team is made of. And once we can see that and possibly play Duke in that same contest, those are going to be the statement games that Texas is going to need, not in terms of if they win or if they lose, just how they play.
I agree with your point, but last year Texas played Incarnate Word and struggled with them early on this season. That was supposed to be a cupcake win. So I'm going with Jonathan here. He said the defense looks good. I think everyone's looked great so far. So Jonathan's getting the point. Awesome stuff, guys. After the break, we'll discuss the biggest weekend. We'll discuss some NFL talk and NBA talk as well. Stay tuned. Welcome back in the College Crossfire, your home for live sports debate on the 40 acres. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. We got Jonathan Pulisic with 2, Arya Bastami with 0,
Not again.
Sean Mapes with 1.
Not
But
again.
you know, last time you started out with 0.
It's true,
Round
very
Rock
true.
Donuts, so there's still
Here we go.
plenty of time left. All right,
Plenty
let's
of
head
time, that's right.
to the NFL. We're 10 weeks into the season, and while there's still 7 weeks left, the playoff picture is starting to get a little bit more clear. Saints, Eagles, and Rams all seem to be a lock at this point, but which team who is not in the playoffs right now has the best chance to get in, and which current playoff team will be knocked out? Jonathan?
I got to go with the Detroit Lions. I mean, they're sitting 1 game behind the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle really hasn't impressed me a whole lot. And Detroit, they're facing a fairly easy schedule. The combined records of the teams that they're coming up against is 28-35. And that includes the Packers without Aaron Rodgers. That includes, the Bears twice. The Bucks, who have not looked good at all. They're really, all they have left on their schedule that should be an automatic loss is the Vikings. And the Vikings have looked phenomenal. But for Detroit, they've got Matthew Stafford, who's playing well. And that defense has improved so much to where it's not all just on Matthew Stafford. I think he can spread the ball to his receivers. The running game's doing just enough for them to get the wins. And like I said, the schedule is easy enough to where they can come in and push Seattle out of the playoff race.
You know, it's crazy that Stafford seems to look better without Calvin Johnson than when he did.
He doesn't have to force the ball. He doesn't have to force the ball to
everyone.
somebody.
So yeah, I like that. Line's looking good. Arya?
You know, for me, I'm going to have to go in the AFC. I'm going to be a little biased. I'm going to say my Raiders are going to be the team that goes in. And the reason why is because once that offensive line starts clicking, then that offense just looks as explosive as it was last year. Plus, we get beast mode, Marshawn Lynch, town business. I see you. Anyways, so in the AFC, I'm going to say that. And if they take out one team, 1, 2, 3, 4 falls of Buffalo, maybe 5. Tyrod Taylor's on the bench now. Jeez Louise, what's going on over there? So I'm going to say in the AFC, it's going to be Buffalo. This is going to be the team that gets knocked out. Raiders come in. In the NFC, though, I'm going to have to say the Cowboys are going to come in. Malik Collins is going to be healthy.
Really?
Zeke is going to come back near the end of the season. I'm so sorry. I got to say it. You're fine, Eagles. Anyways, so I'm going to say the Cowboys come in, and the team that comes out is going to be the Seahawks just because of the fact that Russell is Russell Wilson's doing way too much. Eventually, that fire streak that he's on right now is eventually going to end.
Just added that offensive tackle, though, from the Texans, Dwayne Brown, so that gives him a little bit more help.
But
on
he's
the
injured
offensive
as
side.
well. He's injured as well.
Yeah. So, Sean?
Yeah, I agree with Jonathan, actually. It's going to be the Detroit Lions. They have, according to Bovada, they measure it by the upcoming schedule's combined Super Bowl odds, and they actually have the second easiest schedule. They play all the teams with the worst odds to win the Super Bowl, despite having to play the Bears.
Jeez.
So I think they're going to rise up. They're only a game behind the Seattle Seahawks. Also, like Jonathan said, Seattle Seahawks, they lost Cliff Averill, their defensive end, and they lost Richard Sherman this week.
Yeah, that's big.
Torn Achilles. So it's really going to be tough ahead for them. They also have the 6th hardest schedule in that metric. So give me the Seahawks out, Lions in.
I'm going to go with Arya, not just because he wasn't the only one who didn't bash the Bears, but because I think the Raiders are solid, and I think we saw how good they were last year. They're going to turn it around, obviously. All right, time for some NBA talk, guys. The Celtics are on a roll. Just won their 13th straight game of the season with Kyrie Irving leading the way with 25 points against the Nets. But Kyrie's previous team, the Cavs, are just reeling, just 7-7. On the year. Kyrie Irving, of course, made the move from Cleveland to Boston this offseason. So the question is this: is Kyrie the reason why the Cavs aren't great and why Boston is so good?
Boys, we're overreacting too much on this show. Listen, this is what I've got to say. You're losing a guy who's a 4-time All-Star. You're losing a Rookie of the Year. You're losing a champion. You're losing somebody that averaged 21 points and 5 assists during their career, and so far is doing the exact same for Boston. But what did the Cavs get him for? Is that Isaiah Thomas? He hasn't come back yet, so we haven't seen the Cavs in full form. Obviously, you are losing a great player in Kyrie Irving, but the Cavs have not gotten the person that they have traded for to get. And they still got Crowder, who's a great defender. They've got Derrick Rose now. Yes, I understand the injuries are prominent. Derrick Rose, please switch from Adidas. Please. Anyways. So you've got that being said, but still, at the end of the day, I do believe that this team is built for the postseason. And mark my words on the show, if the Cavs don't make the postseason, I will get a buzz cut. I will do it on the show.
That's gotta be on the show.
On the show.
Okay.
Can I shave your head?
No.
We have this on video.
On video.
Yeah.
It is
We're
on
seeing
video.
it
The
right
Cavs
now.
will make the
It's on
postseason.
video.
Mark it,
Okay.
Eric.
Okay.
Yes.
Bold. Very bold.
Yes.
I think you probably won't be shaving your head on Crossfire.
Hopefully not.
Easy
Sean?
bet. Easy bet. Tough talk, though. Yeah, I also think the Cavs, they're going to be fine. You see this every year with them. They start slow. They don't really take the regular season seriously until February. Yeah. They're gonna ease it in. Isaiah Thomas, one of the main pieces from the Kyrie Irving trade, hasn't come back yet. So they're really not working with their full unit. I say just relax. Just
relax. The Aaron Rodgers approach.
Yes, the Aaron Rodgers approach.
RELAX. I like
Yes.
it. Jonathan?
As far as I'm concerned, until Isaiah comes back, the Cavs traded effectively a fringe MVP candidate for a bag of chips and a turkey sandwich. Until Isaiah Thomas comes back, Jay Crowder, he is not shooting the ball well. He's playing good defense, but he is not shooting the ball well. Like I said, this Cavs team, this makeup of this team, they are so old. They're averaging 30.1 years on their roster. The NBA average is about 26 years. They can't run and keep up with the young guys right now. That'll change when Isaiah Thomas comes back, but until he does, they're going to struggle. And Kyrie, he is, like I said, he's a fringe MVP candidate. He is a big clutch shot maker, and right now they're missing 20 points and 5 assists per game. And the workload that LeBron is taking on right now, he's averaging 38 minutes per game. That's too much, even for LeBron. He is 32, going on 33 in December. He is getting older. He needs somebody to take that pressure off of him. He doesn't have that right now.
Calm down. It's the king of New York now. Calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, it's still LeBron. I'm going with Arya here. I know Sean made this kind of the similar points, but it's just time to just settle down. It's going to be fine. Cavs are going to be good, and he also made a bold prediction. So I would actually like to see the Cavs miss the playoffs.
No.
I'll send out my turkey
They'll be
sandwich.
fine. So Arya's getting the point. All right, guys, the MLB awards are being announced this week. We've already learned who is the Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year, and Cy Youngs from each league. But tomorrow night is the big announcement of the MVP. Looks like Astros second baseman Jose Altuve will win the American League MVP. But as far as the National League goes, it's a toss-up. It's a three-way race between Marlins outfielder Giancarlo Stanton, Diamondbacks first baseman Paul Goldschmidt, and Reds first baseman Joey Votto. But what do you guys think? Who takes home the hardware? Sean?
Remember what I said my first show?
Oh, no.
You asked me about
Don't you
Giancarlo
say it.
Stanton.
Don't say it. Dare say that.
Here it
Aaron
is.
Judge, I'm Marlin, baby.
Oh.
I'm Marlin.
Can you take points away?
Giancarlo Stanton, 59 home runs, 132 RBI, led the NL in slugging, leads the NL among position players in WAR, wins above replacement. There's no like contender candidate, like best player from best team candidate. So I say you give it to Giancarlo. I mean,
59 homers.
59 home runs.
Pretty.
That's loud.
They didn't make the playoffs though. Jonathan?
Well, the thing is that he at least played for a playoff contender. And so that's why I'm going with Giancarlo Stanton as well. Like Sean said, the 59 home runs, the 631 slugging, the 7.6 WAR, which is higher than Joey Votto, who if Joey Votto was on a third place team, I think he would win it. But he's not. Giancarlo Stanton, he had his team in the playoffs up until August. And so he plays right field, which is a better position for defensive guys to actually make an impact more so than a first baseman would. And so that's why I think he has the edge over Joey Votto, not only because of the defense, but because of the WAR. His is about 0.3 of a point higher. And then Paul Goldschmidt, he does a lot of things well, but he doesn't do one particular thing really well. Giancarlo Stanton, he's a monster. He also has a narrative. He was chasing 60 home runs. He had 30 home runs in 2 months. 2 months. How does that happen? He is a monster, and if he doesn't win the MVP, it's a travesty.
Really? Lowest batting average of the three candidates too. But I'm definitely very impressed. All three good candidates.
Right.
Are
Now, if this was the AL boys, you know what I'd have to say.
Sit
But I'm not going
down.
to do it. I'm not going to do it. I think Jose
Stay seated.
Altuve's got it. But in the NL, both of these guys said it. I'm going to have to agree with them. When I was thinking about this question, they've already said all the stats that I wanted to say, but I will say this. In terms of feet, that this is a stat that is tracked. I'm sure you guys know this. In terms of feet, Giancarlo Stanton had 418 feet on average on his home runs. That's out of the park. The only guy that was with him was Votto, which was 421, I believe. So if I'm going to have to change the narrative just off of that, I'm going to go Votto just because 421 feet beats 418 feet.
He's hitting him longer?
Yeah, he's hitting him longer.
Fifth place.
He's
Votto is
in
in
the
So you
fifth
said
place.
you're going Votto now?
I got to go Votto because
The
can't.
Reds are in fifth place. He didn't help them
421.
win. He did not help them
421.
win.
He's Marl out, Mark.
I'm more out.
Get out.
I'm Marlin on Giancarlo. And that always works for Sean and Jonathan. So you guys are both getting the points.
Oh, not again.
Both getting the points. All right, guys, great debate. That's it for now. We've got rapid fire up next, and you don't want to miss it. Welcome back to College Crossfire. It's heating up in here for some rapid fire for those of you watching at home. Each question in rapid fire is worth 2 points, so anyone can still take home the victory. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scoreboard. We've got Jonathan with 3, Arya with 2, and Sean with 2 as well.
forgot, yeah.
So it's close, man. It's
is
just as
close.
close as it was last time between you
That's the
three.
way it should be.
All right,
Oh,
guys, here
yeah.
we go.
Here we
Whenever
go.
Texas linebacker Breckenhager is in front of the mic, you know it's going to be good. When asked about the West Virginia atmosphere, Hager said it's just a bunch of hillbillies drinking moonshine. So, guys, this question is this. If you were West Virginia fans, how would you trash talk Texas fans?
Your breakfast tacos aren't even that good.
Oh.
They are garbage.
Whoa.
You don't know what a taco is.
Oh, that would get to me. That would get to me.
I'm actually offended by this. Yeah, I mean, you can just go with all the classic Austin stereotypes of just being hippies and just, you know, flaky kind of guys. I mean, tea-sippers. It's all
the
in
tea-sippers, the A&M.
Yeah, just play the A&M
Oh, A&M.
The TU.
Yeah.
If I had to pick one, both great points. I'm gonna say, what is that street? Guadalupe. I don't know. I mean, I have nothing. I just.
Also, you can
You're bringing a conversation we're having on before that. I don't know how much that helps you out. Jonathan, I think that would intimidate me if I was a Texas player. I'm like, they're making fun of our tacos, man.
How dare they?
All right, so Jonathan's getting the 2 points there. All right, guys, to the NFL we go. Bears versus Packers on Sunday. Bears running back Benny Cunningham was called out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Bears head coach John Fox believed he got into the end zone Turns out he was dead wrong. The call was reversed, but ended up being a turnover for the Bears because Cunningham fumbled the ball into the back of the end zone, so the Packers got the ball, called it a touchback. Obviously, a terrible decision on Fox's part to challenge this. So what is the worst coaching decision you've ever seen?
Not really coaching decision, more player decision. Timeout.
Oh,
Chrissy Weber, baby. He's blocked people on Twitter because of this. One of my friends got blocked because of this because he added him and said timeout. So it still irks him to this day. So timeout's got to be. And he thought he was the coach. I mean, come on.
Yeah, the coach has to make.
Coach
those
has got to make
decisions.
that call.
All right, guys.
I'll go with the kind of underrated one from the 2016 finals. Steve Kerr let Festus Ezeli guard LeBron James late with 5 minutes left in the fourth. LeBron got 2 buckets on him, including a 3-point foul. Basically got 3 free points from Festus Ezeli. Basically cost them finals because it was a pretty close game, if you remember.
Yep, I like that one.
I'm going to take a shot at Aria real quick.
Here we go.
Joe Girardi, game 2.
Oh, no!
And with the deciding to not challenge the hits batsman, instead when it hit the knob of the bats, why don't you throw your little challenge flag right there? I mean, come on. You are in the playoffs. You have to do everything possible to win. You blew it. You almost cost your team a chance to move on to the ALCS.
You mean the World Series? Yeah, but
Yeah, that was ALDS.
Oh, that was ALDS? Okay,
Oh,
okay.
they moved on to the
My bad.
I just have to take a shot at him, though.
I like that, but I'm going with Sean here just because it was the NBA Finals. The Warriors could have won their 2nd straight finals. So I'm going with Festus. He should never be on LeBron. Come on. All right, final question of the night, guys. No final question? No final question. All right, so if I'm adding up these points correctly.
Well, I took an L.
Jonathan had 5, Arya had 2, Sean just short with 4. So Jonathan Polasic,
Throw up the dub.
getting the win.
Throw up the dub.
We have time for FaceTime? All right,
Luna,
FaceTime.
Luna, come here. Luna, come here. Come here.
Oh,
Come here. We got a guest. We got a guest. Come here. Oh, don't you run away.
We got a guest on College
she's gone.
Crossfire.
And she's gone. She's gone.
She's already gone.
All I got to say, though, is I am so proud of my Houston Astros. I have been disappointed for so long, and they finally came through for me. It has been the most exciting time in my life, and I can't wait to see what happens next year. I know it's for sure not going to be the Texans or the Rockets, so the Astros, you're really my only hope here.
Astros look great. Great World Series, too. All right, guys, that's it for College Crossfire. Jonathan Polasic is the champion. Don't miss College Press Box next Monday at 9 for a recap of all sports news on the 40 Acres. Special thanks to everyone in studio, Master Control, and to you for spending your Wednesday night with us. Till next time, I'm Mark Skoll Jr. Good night.